Hello again, parents and students. I just wanted to mostly give parents just a little bit of a tutorial on how you can access some of the parent tools as well as our textbook. So your first step to do so is to go to your address bar and you can type in cpm.org and then press enter. You'll be then taken to a welcome page. This is a nice page that has some of the different things that the kids will be using, a little bit of information about the curriculum, as well as a parent tab. If you click on that tab, it will actually take you to a parent support page that kind of talks about some of the different things that I covered within my previous video. But then also a cool thing that I found was that it has some just tips of the week that you can click on, and once you click on it, it'll come up with a little pop-up and give you some parent tips that you can be thinking about when we are working with mathematics. Just a neat little piece there. Anyhow, that's before you log in. So once you are ready to log in, you go up to the top right hand corner and you'll just click log in. You will log in with your student's username and password. Once you click log in, what is going to come up is a kind of another welcome page, but you'll see that there are a couple different pieces you can go to. There's a learning section that has our ebook, as well as a parent support tab. And then there's also some teacher tutorials and some student tutorials also. So if we click on our ebook, what will come up on there is kind of our home page. Usually this message disappears, and right here we see our CC Accelerated 6th grade. So when we click on that, that's going to take us to our book. So you'll know we're in our book when you can see the different units along the side of the page, 1 through 12, and then there's a reference section at the bottom that I'll talk about here in a moment. Once we click on a unit, like right now we're in Unit 1, on CC 1, 1, 2, 3 down here at the bottom, and I'm just going to click on that one and show you what a lesson would look like. So on this page you'll notice there's a title, and then the second piece is usually kind of the main target that we'll be covering. So this lesson we were talking about the characteristics of numbers. We always start out at the beginning of the lesson kind of going through this introduction and talking about any vocabulary. An awesome piece to CPM is the kids on their iPads can click on that and it will come up with an actual definition that they can use. We also talk about some of these questions here at the bottom of each introduction. And these are just kind of focus questions that will help kids to have conversations as they go through each of the problems. If you scroll down, the main part of the lesson, you'll notice they're numbered 162, 163 on this one. And then all the way at the bottom, there might be a part 2, but all the way at the bottom, you'll find usually a set of math notes. And these math notes are very handy for kids just because they can refer back to these. A lot of times these are different things that they've covered in previous grades, like natural, whole, and prime numbers. And then we have the review preview, which is the homework. So you'll notice the homework's numbered on the side, so the kids will be putting that in their notebooks. This homework help piece, if you click on it, will take you to a whole nother page. And within that, it has the actual problem that the kids will be doing. This matches what was on the actual lesson page. But the cool piece of it is if they are stuck, they can click on the hint and then a hint will show up for that problem. There's also a second hint, and right now I have it so that on the third click, the kids can actually get the answer. My big thing is, even if they know the answer, if they're not able to have a conversation about how they got there, I know that they're just going through and writing down answers. So if you notice that your son or daughter is just clicking hint, hint, and then taking that answer and writing that answer down, maybe have a conversation with them. How did they come up with that answer? What was their strategy? So if I go back to the CPM book by clicking on the other tab, you'll notice at the top of the page there's a couple different things. We've got e-tools. There's a lot of different tools that we'll be using through each lesson. And these are all interactive tools that they can use on their iPad. We've got a number of different calculators. Normally we don't use calculators that often because we're still kind of working on understanding why things work. There's also a translator if you are speaking a different language. There's also some tutorials. These tutorials, if you click on that, will actually go through and kind of talk about some of the different pieces of the ebook. I haven't used these all that often though. There's also a CPM links that I haven't used quite as often, just because these might pertain to me. Yours might look a little different just because you're in a student textbook and I'm in the actual teacher textbook. So the last thing that I want to make sure parents know about is if you take a look, I'm going to close Unit 1 so that I have all my units listed here on the left-hand side, and I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom to the reference section. If you click on that reference page, you'll notice a couple different things. We've got some checkpoints, a glossary, an index, and then student support. If you click on that student support page, on this page right here, we're going to come up with this accelerated 6 page. And on this page, it has all of the CC1 e-tools we'll be using. You'll notice that there's a link with every one of those. So these are just general tools that we'll be using. And then it will also take you to some of the problems that go along with an e-tool. So for example, lesson 112, we used tool 17, which was a toothpick tool we used for area. And you can click on these to see the different tools that we would be using interactively. Same goes for the 7th grade CC2 targets. Learning logs are a part of our curriculum that we do at the end of a big piece of learning. The kids will record what they've learned about a certain topic within their notebook. The math notes are those that I pointed out in the lesson at the bottom that kind of helps kids review some of those things that they may have done previously. But the biggest thing is we've got a CC1 parent guide and a CC2 parent guide. And when you click on that parent guide, the awesome thing is you can see here we've got chapter 1. These are the 3 lessons in chapter 1 that will be covered in CC1. So these are all our 6th grade targets that we're going to be working on for lesson 1. You'll notice describing extending patterns, histograms and bar graphs, and then types of numbers. If I click on one of those, it'll give you a really good idea of what it is we're doing. It'll also give you an example and the solution to that example. This also kind of gives some different ways you can solve the problem. And then at the bottom, it gives you just some practice problems. Now, each of these practice problems also comes with solutions on that next page. So if your son or daughter doesn't have homework and you feel like they are wanting some, this is a great place to turn. I know that in the past, parents have just printed off this page and then handed it to their son or daughter and had them go through and solve those problems, and then had them check them with their answers. So feel free if you want to print those out. That would be great practice. So then if we look at the CC2 parent guide, same thing goes. In chapter 1, these are our two big pieces that we will be talking about, is describing functions and then also functions. So you can use those to help out during the week. There's also those weekly tips that I pointed out at the beginning on this page. And then we've also got some resource pages. And those resource pages goes along with each of those lessons. And then will be, a lot of these we use in class. So you won't really need to access those. I just wanted to make sure that you understood how to log in today to the CPM math book. Give you kind of a synopsis of what a lesson might look like. And then also where that student support and parent guide is. Now, I am coming to the end of my recording limit. So if you have other questions about anything Math Pathway 2 related, please do not hesitate to call me, email. I am very happy to answer any questions or concerns. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I will be in touch. Have a nice day.